Hi, my name is Toni Harris, and welcome to my web-based tutorial on how to create a newsletter in Constant Contact. This tutorial is set up so that the first section is divided into, we'll go over the learning objectives and what I expect out of your learning from this tutorial. And then the second part, we will go hands-on live into Constant Contact and actually go through how to build a newsletter from scratch. And so this should be an exciting, fun time. And by the time it's over, you will actually have a newsletter that you can start to send out to your audience. So let's go ahead and get started. The instructional goal of this web-based tutorial is to teach you how to create a newsletter using Constant Contact specifically, although I will be giving you lots of tips and pointers that work regardless of your program, because it's all about how to market yourself using a newsletter. And our learning objectives for this tutorial is we're going to go over the audience, the behavior, the conditions, and the degree. These are called ABCD learning objectives. The first is the audience. Who's the audience for this web-based tutorial? It is an adult audience, and it's small to medium-sized business owners and marketing specialists. It's those people that are responsible for bringing new business into an organization. And Constant Contact focuses on small to medium-sized businesses. Then what behavior, based on this web-based tutorial, do I want to change? I want to help motivate you to implement consistent newsletters and communications into your business that will eventually turn into dollars. In fact, I know when I send out a newsletter, it's consistent that I receive someone who says, oh yeah, I'm glad you reminded me that you are there. I want to do some business with you. And so I want to modify your behavior so that you think that sending newsletters is not too hard and that you can consistently do it in your business. Your conditions, the audience should be able, or you should be able to implement your strategies, these strategies in your real world business with consistency. And so that is, and consistency is really key, and you'll hear me say that more than once. Sending out newsletters is not a one-time thing where everybody is going to flock to your business. It is a consistent, ongoing journey actually that you have to take, but if you do, it will turn into real business. And then the degree, what degree do I want you to change to implement these changes in your business, and what should you be able to demonstrate? And by the end of this tutorial, you should be able to demonstrate the ability to create a newsletter from scratch. In fact, your assessment at the end of this training is going to be to create a newsletter and send it to me so I can see how you got it done. So the question becomes, why do I need to even create a newsletter for my business as a small business owner? And the first answer is it keeps you in front of your prospects and your customers. This is so important. And as small business owners, sometimes we get so excited that we've closed the first sale that we forget that people will buy from us again. But if we don't remind them that we're there, the next time they need our product or service, they may forget about us. People aren't as loyal as they used to be. So you want to stay in front of your prospective clients and your existing clients. It also allows you to showcase your expertise. My newsletter is based on marketing and email and social media marketing, to be specific. And so I often highlight different features of email and social media that will allow my clients to be able to grow their business. So it showcases me as an expert so that when they are ready, they come to me. The ability to share on social media is another reason to create a newsletter. What do I mean by that? Well, when I send out my newsletter or you send out your newsletter, you'll be able to add icons to that newsletter so that if your audience loves what you have to say, all they have to do is click the Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn icons and automatically your newsletter is shared. Just like when you're browsing the web and you read an article that you like and there's icons where you can like it and share it. On that particular web page. Same thing with your newsletter. So it helps to get your message into other people's networks, which is very valuable as a business owner. And then the other thing is with a newsletter is you are where your audience is. What do I mean by that? Well, consistently, most people are checking their email dozens of times a day. In fact, most of us have our email on our smartphones, right? We have them on our phones, we have them on our tablets, and I am guilty. I have it on my phone, I have it on my tablet, I have it on my computer, and every time that phone dings, it's like Pavlov's dog. We pick up the phone and we check that email. Well, if we're doing that, guess what? So is our audience. And so while social media is a good way to grow your business, everybody's not on social media, if you can believe that. And everybody's not on social media all day long. So if I place an important message on social media right now, well, you're watching this video, so you're going to miss it. But if I put my message in your inbox, then you're going to see my name, you're going to see my subject, and it brings a mental picture to mind of who I am and what I do. And even if you don't open the email, it shows you that I'm still in business. Whenever I speak live, I always say putting an email in your audience's inbox is like doing a pageant wave. Hey, I'm still here. I'm still in business. I'm ready to do business when you're ready to do business. And even if they delete, it's a mental picture that you are still there. So you want to be where your audience is. Now, why Constant Contact? Well, Constant Contact is the leading email marketing system with over 500,000 small to medium-sized business as customers. They're a publicly traded Fortune 500 company, and they offer a wide variety of products besides email marketing, which is very important. They offer event marketing, social campaigns, online surveys, and autoresponders. The other thing about Constant Contact is it's very affordable. You actually could send a newsletter for $20 a month to up to 500 contacts. And I tell my audiences all the time, you can't even buy stamps for 500 contacts for $20. So it really is an affordable option for small to medium-sized business owners. So I've talked enough. So let's get started. So I'm actually going to navigate through Constant Contact. So you will actually see all of my screen captures. And by the way, the beauty of a web-based tutorial is that you can pause it, you can rewind, you can stop, you can restart, you can replay anytime. So if there's anything I say that you didn't quite grasp, pause it, replay. And that's the beauty of a web-based tutorial. So the first thing you want to do to sign into an account is go to constantcontact.com. Constantcontact.com, and it'll bring you to a screen that's similar to this. I say similar because this is a web-based platform, and Constant Contact's free to change their look, and they do often at any time. So if it doesn't look exactly like this, don't be alarmed, but you can always look for the login up in the upper right hand corner. So I'm going to click on login, and my username, because I'm consistently using this, is already there, and my password. And for yourself, you would use your username and your password. Now, if you don't already have a Constant Contact account, you can sign up for a trial for free. So I'm clicking the link, sign up for free. It's really simple. Put in your first name, last name, email, password, organization name, and phone number. In fact, though, if you are going to sign up for a constant contact account, I would be most grateful if you use my customized URL to do so. So I'm going to actually take you there just so it's on the recording. And it is ToniHarrisSpeaks.ConstantContact.com. ToniHarrisSpeaks.ConstantContact.com. And if you sign up on this page, then I will actually get credit for it. So be sure to use this page if you're going to sign up for a new account. But for now, we're going to log in because I have an account. And so I'm clicking the login button, and it is loading the home screen. Now, the very first time you use Constant Contact, you are going to have to adjust your settings. And to do so, you're going to click on My Account and My Settings. And when you click on My Settings, it's going to bring you into a window. Now, again, these are settings you only have to change the first time you use the account or anytime you want to change your defaults. So this is where you set your defaults. And in fact, the system won't let you move forward until you set those defaults. So go to My Settings first. So My Settings is broken up into different sections. We've got organization information, so edit organization information. And the name of my business is Drastic Online Results. The website address is drasticonlineresults.com. And I'm going to actually put in my phone number. And here too, my organization logo. And so I've got a image library I can choose from or image URL. An image URL is a web page that houses that particular image. Most of the time, though, you're going to use the image library because you want to upload your images into the system. So this is a good time for me to show you how to upload an image. Where it says select and change image, we're going to click there. And my logo is already in here because this is my account and I use it often, but I'm going to show you how to upload from scratch. So I'm going to click Upload File. And when I click Upload File, it's going to go into my, my computer library so that I can browse my computer to find a file. So I'm going to go over to Pictures, and I'm going to, I have so many images in my library, and because I'm using Windows, I'm going to go up here in the upper right hand corner, and I'm just going to type the word logo. And any particular files that have the word logo in them, it is going to bring those up for me. Okay, great. And I've got it set to extra large images. I'm going to go to medium images. And the logo I'm looking for is this one, DOR logo. So I'm going to click the logo in my Explorer window. And then I choose OK. And then I click on Upload File. And now it's uploaded, and if I want to browse for more files, I can browse more files here, or I'm just going to click Done for now. Now I'm going to click Insert to insert the logo. Okay, so now the image is there, so I'm going to go ahead and save that particular section. Great. Signature information. Signature information, it picks up the name that the account is set up in. I'm going to edit signature information. I have a business mantra. It is the turnaround queen. So when I put a signature in my emails, I want to do Toni Harris hyphen the turnaround queen, just so my mantra becomes more known. And then what email address do I want to use? I want to use the one that I used to set up the account, Toni at drasticonlineresults.com. And you could have the beauty of Constant Contact is you can use your own personal email address so that it looks like it's coming from you, and it is coming from you personally. Sometimes we have more than one email address. So the very first time you use your account, you must verify your email. So if you just set up a trial account, you got to go to your email box, find the confirmation email from Constant Contact, and confirm that your email is real, because there are a lot of organizations out there, illegitimate organizations, that use automated tactics, and we want to make sure that you're a real person. So go verify your email address. Mine has already been verified because the account is older. But you can also verify more email addresses. So you can click on that if you want it and add any additional email addresses that you wanted to see, and then send verification email. So your organization may have a sales at yourbusiness.com, or you may have an info at yourbusiness.com. So you can add any of those generic emails in here to be verified if you wanted to use more than one email in your account. But I'm going to go back to manage my settings and go back to edit signature information. And I do want a signature image as well. And so I'm going to go to my image library, select and change image. And my image is already in there. So you see I've got a little cutesy non-real signature of my name with a smiley face. And I just like to close out my documents with that. So you don't have to have a signature image at all. And if you choose to do what I did, and all I did was sign a blank piece of paper and scan that, do not use your legal signature. I'm going to say that again. Do not use your legal signature, because somebody could lift your signature and insert it into a document. So that's why I use the cutesy Toni with the smiley face. I know nobody can lift that and say that I signed a document legally. Okay. Welcome email settings. By the way, the email signature image could also be your photo. Lots of people use their photo as the email signature image. The welcome email. What this welcome email is, and I've got it on, is that when somebody joins my list or somebody joins your list, then they will be able to receive a welcome email that you can actually customize and edit the template to be able to say, thank you for joining my list, and set the expectation of how often they're going to receive emails, what they can look for, coupons, specials, those kinds of things. This particular tutorial doesn't allow me time to go into it. However, I will be creating a tutorial that actually talks about welcome emails and autoresponders. And so look out for that tutorial in the future. But turn the welcome email on. Even if it's a generic email, it's good, because what it does is it lets the person know that your account is active. So when they join your list, they get some sort of correspondence from you. Email message settings, update the from name. The from name is very important. If I don't recognize who the email is from, I may not open it. And so your audience works the same way. Make sure they recognize the name in the from space. So you see I'm editing it to add the turnaround queen to my name. You may, if you're more well known as your business name, you might want the from to be the business name. If you're more well known as your individual name, then you want the from to be your individual name. That's up to you to decide, but make sure it's something that people will recognize and they will want to open your email. Okay. Enable advanced email permissions. This is for, if I hover over this little I here and click it, this is more for the Canadian customer base that we have, and so you can leave that turned off. Where it has footer options, Update profile email link is turned on, and unsubscribe comment box is turned on. What this is that if people want to update their profile, they can do that. There's a link at the bottom of every email you send that allows them to update the profile. And if they unsubscribe, you can allow them to comment as to why they've unsubscribed. They may say something like, you send too many emails, your emails are too wordy, not interested in your topic. Whatever it is, it's good marketing for you to understand how you might make an adjustment in your delivery so that people will not unsubscribe. Okay, if you're going to do online surveys, this is some survey settings, but for now we're not doing surveys. And then organization address, the CAN-SPAM Act. You can Google that if you want to know more about it, but the CAN-SPAM Act are the rules that the Federal Trade Commission of the United States has written about what you have to have, what's required in order to do good email marketing the right way. And an address is required. It could be a P.O. box, but it's got to be a physical address, not just a website address. And again, this is trying to weed out spammers. And so for myself, I personally have a home-based business, and a lot of small business owners have a home-based business. So what I did was went out to one of the local postal centers and got a P.O. box from them that actually also has a physical street address. And so you would want to edit the address to put in either your P.O. box or your physical address, which is required by the CAN-SPAM Act from the Federal Trade Commission. Cannot send an email without an address. Okay. The next section are some miscellaneous options. The first one is authentication, and currently I have it turned off. I want that on, and you want it on for you as well. And you want to enable authentication, and it gives me a default name. And what this does is allows constant contact emails to get through internet service providers. And that's very important because lots of corporations and lots of email internet service providers have filters that will block emails. But with constant contact authentication, we have a 93% deliverability of getting past all those spam blockers and filters. And so that's another reason to use constant contact, because we have such a good reputation in the email marketing industry that we are able to get past lots of internet service providers. So I'm going to go ahead and enable that, and whatever the default address here is, you never see that or use that, but it happens in the background. So just accept whatever the default is and save. Confirmed opt-in. What this is for when someone opts into your list, if you need them to confirm that they really want to be on your list, you can turn that on. I personally don't like that because people don't confirm. So I leave it off. So when someone opts into my list, they are on my list automatically without having to go to their email to confirm. You can turn that on or off according to your preferences. I prefer off. And unless it's required, I suggest you leave it off as well. Language is English, and autosave is on by default. Change your time zone to whatever time zone you are in and click save. So these are all the settings that you need to set up before you can send out your first email. All right, now that we've done that, we can go home. And the home area is where we go to create our first newsletter. And so what I'm going to do is click this big create button in the right. Notice there's a video here, and Constant Contact will place videos that informational videos in your settings at any time. So take a look at those. This one's only 1 minute and 34 seconds. But for now, I'm just going to click create to start our newsletters. So here are the 4 things we can create. We can create newsletter and announcement. We can create offer and promotion, events and registrations, and feedbacks and surveys. I'm going to do newsletters and announcements. Then I have a newsletter email, card announcement email, business letter email, press release, and custom code, meaning you can create your own templates and backgrounds and things like that. But we're going to go with newsletter email and then click create. When I click create, it is going to bring me to a window where I select a template. Now, Constant Contact has hundreds additional templates. You can view all templates here, and when you do, look at all of the templates that are available. Every template is fully customizable. So perhaps you see a layout you like, but not the colors, right? This is a lot of red here. And maybe your business colors aren't red, but you like the layout, you can change the colors. And I'm going to show you how to do some of the color changing. The other thing is you want to make sure your newsletter template is mobile friendly. What does that mean? That means that on mobile devices, your newsletter could run together, things could be smushed, your images don't show up correctly, and our mobile friendly templates are already preset for mobile marketing. Okay, so most of the time nowadays, keeping in mind that a lot of people are using their smartphones and their tablets to look at your newsletters from their email, you might want to automatically choose a mobile friendly option. I'm going to go ahead and choose a mobile friendly option. I'm going to choose mobile black. And when I choose mobile black, it's going to bring me into a customize your campaign window. And we are now ready to get started with our newsletter. So first thing you want to do is give your newsletter a unique name. This is a name that only is going to show up in your list of newsletters, but it helps you to see, oh yeah, that newsletter was my June newsletter. So I'm going to do June newsletter and touch enter. And so there you have it. And only I see that. We're going to come down here now, and the first section is, first let me get you orientated to the screen. You have the exit and the previous screen buttons and the continue button to move to the next page. Here you have colors and fonts, and you have blocks. So here's all my default colors for this particular template. Now remember, I told you that if you don't like a black background, you can change it to whatever background color you like. And so by clicking on the color and picking a different color, there you have it. It changes the whole background just that quickly. Then the outer border. Now some of these are less detectable than others. You can do outer back border color. So I'm going to choose outer border, and I'm going to choose this light yellow. You see, the only thing it changed was this really skinny border around there. Okay, inner border color, I'll leave that at gray. Header background color, let me make that black. There you go. You see it changed that heading to black. And then content divider color, you see that? Let's make that content divider. Let's make it purple there. See? There you go. And so that keeps you from having, so that next time you drop a content divider into the newsletter, it'll be purple instead of being black. So this is how you change your colors. Notice my subheading text is this blue color. Blue doesn't match what I have going on, so I'm going to choose it and make it purple. Now both subheadings have changed. So that's what the colors and fonts do for you. You can also change default fonts here. So I have Calibri as my default font, my heading text. I'm going to change Calibri. Now, you can choose these defaults in fonts here, because Constant Contact knows that 99% of computers have these fonts on them. But if I come over here to other and choose something unique, it may not be on every computer. And if I choose a font that's not on every computer, then you force the system to default to something that may not look well when it's on the recipient side. So my advice is to stick with commonly used fonts. Arial, Times New Roman, Comic Sans, Tahoma. I'm going to choose Tahoma. And so what it does is change my subheading text to Tahoma. Again, I don't have to change it individually. If I want to change my main text to Tahoma, I can click on main text, change to Tahoma, and the whole block changes. Beautiful. So you could go through and do that on all, or then if you want to go back to your defaults, you can click on Restore Defaults and everything goes back to the default. Easy, right? Very good. All right, so I'm going to stay with the defaults for now. Then I'm going to click over here to the blocks section. And with the blocks section, I can add blocks. I can add a logo. I can add header, headings, I can add another content. I can add another content with image. Just to show you how to add, I'm going to drop content with image, drag and drop it right above the heading block. And that puts in a content block with default text. It just kind of tells you some filler text here. And then it has an image block as well. So we'll come back to that in a second. But you saw how easy that was. I just clicked and dragged it where I wanted to go. I could also just click on the plus sign. And when I do the plus sign, it defaults to the bottom of the newsletter. And then if I didn't want it at the bottom, I could just drag it where I want it to go. Or if I don't want it at all, oops, I added it by mistake, I can just delete the block and choose OK. And it's gone. So that's very, very easy to add content, to add headings, drag and drop. There's a lot of drag and drop features here as well. Okay, come back to the sidebar in a few minutes. Across the top here, I've got I like this. This is a new feature. It's called a spam check. We'll see what that does a little bit. Then we have our design, we have our text, style sheet, preview, and save. Preview is what I'm going to want you to do later on after you've created your newsletter. When you click on preview, it actually allows you to test your links and then email a preview copy to see how it's going to show up in people's inboxes. So part of your assessment is going to be to send me the preview of your finished newsletter. Below that, we have header options. Header options are a default. That's a default block. Notice you can't delete it. All you can do is edit it. Every email must have header options. This is where you put your subject, modify the from name if this particular email needs to be from a different name or you want it to appear differently. You can actually edit it here. The from email address, you can pick a different email address here if you want. And then I'll go through the other options. First thing I want to do is a subject line. Now, this is our June newsletter, but it's never a good idea to make your subject June newsletter. You want your subject to be compelling, something where people will want to open your newsletter. So the subject line in this case is learn how to beat the heat. How about that? And I'm just putting that in as a generic newsletter title. Think of something clever though. Whatever is you talk about in your newsletter. In fact, a good idea is to do your subject after you've created the newsletter to showcase whatever it is a person's going to get, the benefit they're going to get by reading your newsletter. So I'm going to leave it at learn how to beat the heat for now, but I may come back and change it later. Permission reminder is telling people why they're receiving an email from you. Just kind of reminding them, oh yeah, by the way, you're receiving this email because you signed up for my list. Because people sometimes forget that they signed up for your list. Okay, and it encourages them, and this is fully editable. So if I wanted to change the text in here, I could. Web page version, you want to turn that on, and that allows people to see your newsletter in a web page format versus in if their browser can't open the email or their email is blocked, the images are blocked, you can have them click on a link, and when they click the link, it actually will open your newsletter in a web page. That's an also awesome feature that Constant Contact offers, just in case people can't open the newsletter at work or in their browser. Remember earlier I told you that one of the benefits of sending a newsletter is that people can share your newsletter on their social media. Well, this is how you put in those links so that people can click Facebook if they love what they're reading in your newsletter. So the header options is where you turn those on. So these are not on by default, and there's no way to turn them on by default. It's a case-by-case basis. And sometimes you don't want people to share your newsletter on social media, so you want to come in and change this in the header options every time you send a newsletter. And I'm going to choose OK. Now you see my header is complete. Where before all it had was the from, subject, reply. Now it has the web page link. It now has the permission reminder. And notice that the permission reminder automatically gives them an option to unsubscribe, gives your audience an option to unsubscribe. This is one of the other requirements of the CAN-SPAM Act from the Federal Trade Commission. And so you want to make sure that your newsletter provider has an automatic unsubscribe option. With Constant Contact, when someone unsubscribes from your list, they come off of your list instantly. And that's a beautiful thing. You don't want people on your list who don't want to be on your list because you pay per contact, and you don't want to get in trouble with the Federal Trade Commission for not removing people from your list. So you want to use the unsubscribe option. And then here are the logos so people can share your newsletter on their social media. All right. Next, we're going to go into the logo section. So I'm going to click on the logo section. And again, anything that's part of a template can be deleted. So if you didn't want a logo here, you wouldn't have to put it here. You could delete that block. But remember, we imported my logo in, and I do want my logo here. So I'm going to go ahead and click the little wheel. Anytime you see this little wheel, in most programs, it means a settings. So, and I'm going to click on change. And when I click change, it's going to bring me to the image URL, but I'm going to go over here to my library. And when I click my library, these are all of the images I have uploaded. Okay, and you see I have my logo here, and I'm going to click insert. And when I do, it puts my logo in. It's too big. So I'm going to resize this image by coming over to one of the corners. Typical graphic manipulation works inside of Constant Contact. So you just click on the image and resize it. That looks like a great size. I'm going to click save, and there's my logo. Great. All right. The next thing we want to do is put in a header image. Now, to do the header image, I click on that section once. This time, instead of clicking the wheel, I'm going to double click on the image. And when I do that, double click on the box there, it brings me into the same insert image window here. So all I have to do is double click on that, or click the little wheel or change, brings us to the same place. This time, notice I have Access Pro Stock Images. Inside, I'm clicking on that. Inside of Constant Contact, we actually have some stock images that are available for purchase or for free. Who likes free? I love free. So let's browse some of the free images and see what we have. Notice they've got categories here already. or you can type in what you might be searching for. I'm going to go with computers and technology, so I'm going to click on that. And I forgot, I'm in a template account or a trial account. So when you're in a trial, you don't have full functionality of the program, but I'm going to go ahead. It says I can't purchase pro images. It's okay because I only wanted the free images anyway. So I'm going to look at the free results and see what it allows me to see on free. And I've got 69 free images. Let's see if I can find an image I would like for my header in this section. And I think I'll be able to find something here. Okay, so there's some beautiful free images here, and I'm loving this one with the little girl. So I'm going to go ahead and click on free. And yes, I agree. Basically, you are agreeing to only use this free image in your Constant Contact newsletter. And so, yes, I agree to that. And it should place this cute little adorable girl. I'm going to click on done there and insert. And it places her in my newsletter. Love, love, love this picture. She is too adorable. All right, so I can size it if I want. And I'm going to go ahead and click save. There you go. But if I wanted to make it smaller, I could do so as well. Now I double clicked on the image. You can also make it a clickable link. And notice by default, it takes my website address so that if someone clicked on the image, it'll automatically jump them out to my website, which is a beautiful feature of Constant Contact as well. Now, let's see if I can adjust this. There you go. I made the dimensions, made it 350. I made it half its size, so I can change dimensions here as well. Or if I'm unsure, I can visually do it using this slider here. You can also edit an image by clicking edit image, and you can crop, you can put a frame on it, and you can modify it. I'm going to go ahead and put this little black frame on it and apply that. And if I wanted to, I could change the warmth of it like that and apply. There you go. So there's some built-in photo editing features here as well. Illuminate. Look at that. Wow. High definition. There you go. So you could play all day here, and we don't have all day. So I'm going to do that and apply and save. And then it should replace my image with the modified image, keeping the original image in place, by the way. So if I wanted to go back to the original image, I could. Again, I'm going to change the size, reduce it down to this, and then insert and save. Great. All right. The next thing I want to do is how to edit text. So I'm just going to click in this box here. And you see I've got optional link there. I'm just going to back this out, and I'm going to delete that and put in this is how you edit text in a box. It is really simple. You can also copy and paste text from a document into this section so that you don't have to retype, period. Beautiful. Editing text is very simple, like any other text editor. All right, if I wanted to include an image here, we've already seen how to do images, so I'm not going to take you back into that. But what I am going to do is something different. I'm going to delete that image box. I've changed my mind. I don't want it. And I am going to point you to the box over here to the left. Notice when you have a text box or a image box active that your options over here on the left are different. Remember when we first started, we had colors and blocks. Now we have insert, images, and social. You see that? That's because the text box is active. And sometimes people forget that. So keep that in mind. Anytime a text box is active, you want to take a look at your options here. Now notice you've got image. So you see I deleted that image box. If I wanted to bring an image in to a box that either didn't have an image or I accidentally deleted it, you just drag image. It opens up the library and then you can insert your image there. So I'm going to put in a small image. Actually, since I already have the little girl, let's try these little girls. There you go, or little kids. And insert, and there you have it. And I can click the wheel on that one, and I can change the alignment to left align so that the text automatically adjusts around it. All right. Now, I'm going to save that. And I'm going to go down here to the heading section. Just click on heading and say, this is a section heading. Not hard, right? And save. I'm going to come in here. I'm going to take out subheading. I don't need that. So I'm going to take X and choose OK to take that out. And then I'm going to click inside this text box, and this time I want to add a video. Videos are very powerful. So I'm going to add a video link, and I'm just going to drop it anywhere in the box. Notice that your videos should be stored on YouTube, Vimeo, Blip, or Point Across. I'm not really familiar with any of these because I use YouTube. So I'm going to go over to YouTube, and I'm going to go to my personal YouTube channel. There you are. And I have several videos here. Now, if I wanted to add this video here, I could click on the video I want to add, or you click on the video you want to add, and then click on share. Notice the code for that video. I'm going to right click on it and copy. And then I'm going to go back over here to the Constant Contact tab. I'm going to right click in there and see and paste. And there is the code that represents that video. Now I'm going to click Create Image. And when I do, there is a video of me speaking. Again, I can adjust the size. Okay. And I can put a title on it if I like. I'm going to leave what's there. By default, it picks up the video of the YouTube video or the title of the YouTube video. And I'm going to click Insert. And there's my video. If I don't like the position, I can move it. And notice when I just drug it where I want it to go. And the text went below it. Okay. Now, I'm going to remove this text here. And I'm going to say, for more information, visit my website here. I'm going to center that text, and I'm going to make the word here a link to my website. So anytime you have text in your newsletter that you want to link to a different place, it can be a website, it can be a video, it can be your Facebook page, it could be anywhere, you would select the word, click the link, insert link button here, and then we're going to type in the website. In this case, Drastic Online Results pops up because I use it all the time. And my link is blue, so it stands out. And choose Insert. And Save. And that's great. There you have it. So I've showed you how to insert graphics, which graphics are so key to a newsletter. People don't like to read a lot of words anymore. So one of the keys to success in a newsletter is to use graphics, use videos, use bullets, short, concise text. And then if you want to give them more text, put the more text on your website, put a blurb in your newsletter, click here to read more, and then they can read more out on your website. Okay? Great. I'm going to go ahead and delete these other blocks just to clean up the newsletter a little bit. I don't need this divider either, so I'm deleting everything there. I'm going to go ahead and put in the copyright 2014. And I'm going to reduce the size of the font on that because I think it's too big. It's 16 point. I think 11 points all we need. Click on save, and that is done. Now, if I want the color of one block to be changed, I can click in that one block, see that paint bucket pouring out colors. I'm going to pick one of these yellow colors and save, and there you have it. So basically, we have a newsletter. Now, before you get ready to send the newsletter, you need to preview it and make sure it's all good. But before we do that, let's save. Notice that it's auto-saving along the way. So you see it's last saved at 10:22, but I want to double check and make sure it's saved. So I'm going to click on Save myself. Okay, I'm going to click preview, and when I click preview, I want to test all my links, make sure they're working. So if I click on the logo, it jumps me to my website. You saw that? So I'm going to close that window, come back over here. If I click on the little girl, it should jump me to the website. Remember, I linked that little girl to my website. If I click on the video, it should jump me to YouTube and start to play the video. So all my links are working, and for more information, visit my website, and I click there, and there we have it. All right. This is wonderful. So now, when you get ready to send me as part of your assessment, your preview, all you got to do is type a comma, send one to yourself, because you want to always check your newsletter to make sure it looks right on your smartphone, on your tablet, on your computer, and then send one to me as well. And you can see my email address right there, Toni@drasticonlineresults.com, and you can do up to 5 email addresses separated by a comma. Okay. And then if you want to put a personal note here, here's my assessment. You can do that, and then send a test. So I'm going to go ahead and click send a test to send myself a test of the email. Great. All right, of course, we don't have time to go through every single option, but I've shown you how easy Constant Contact is, so you should be ready to explore the things that we don't cover, because you can see the system does not blow up if you click on something. So it's really an intuitive program. On that note, though, if you get stuck with anything in the design of your newsletter or you need help, you can always call this 800 number up here, and that 800 number is there for customer service. They will log into your newsletter side by side with you and either fix the problem or help you, teach you how to fix the problem as well. So our customer service is award-winning, and if you come down here, let's see here, there's help and tips here. So I can click help here as well. We have an extensive blog and library there. You can click support and resources, search our FAQs, community, more help. Okay, so you can close this window, but if you ever need help, just give them a call on that 800 number. Okay, now that we're done with the newsletter, we're going to exit it. The next thing we have to do is set up our list. Who's going to receive the newsletter, right? So we have to either type in the email addresses and names of our recipients, or we can import them in from an Excel file, or we can copy and paste them. I'm not going to show you every method. I am going to show you how to copy and paste, because copy and paste for me is the simplest way to bring the names in, but I normally copy and paste from an Excel spreadsheet. Now, your data may not be in Excel. Perhaps you have your list of contacts in Yahoo or Gmail or Hotmail or Outlook. You can export from those systems into a format that Excel can read. XLS, TXT, CSV is very common. Export from those systems into those formats, and then you can import them into Constant Contact. So let's go ahead and take a look at contacts. Over here on the left is the contacts link. And I'm going to add contacts. So you can click add contacts. You can do create new contact, add multiple contacts, add from file, import from Google. We do have a direct connection to Google, and then import from other apps. And some of those other apps are Salesforce or ACT, contact management systems. Okay, so we can, and then you can add an email list. You see I have several email lists here. I can add an email list, and I'm going to go ahead and create a new list to start with. And this is going to be our test list for web tutorial. Okay, so I'm going to click on add list, and you see I have the list over here. If I click on the list, it will show me over here that I don't have any contacts yet. Okay. Now what I want to do is go into Excel. Actually, I'm going to go to Microsoft Excel, and I'm going to open a spreadsheet that I know I have that contains the names of, let's see here, of some contacts. So let's look at my contact list. There you have. So you see I have a few contacts here. Humpty Dumpty, Snow White, Bo Peep. You've heard of them. And of course, this is just dummy information for test purposes. So to bring these email addresses into Constant Contact, you could either import them, or you could, and here's where the difference is. If you want to capture their first and last name and bring that into Constant Contact, you should import. But if you just want the email address, you can copy and paste. Okay, so if you want to bring in the first name and last name, you can import. If you want to just bring in the email address, you can copy and paste. The advantage of doing the import and bringing in names is you can personalize the newsletter to say, Dear Toni. But the word of caution with that, you want to make sure that every single name or every single email address has the first and last name in it. Otherwise, it loses its benefit, because somebody will get a newsletter that says, Dear, comma. And that's never a good look. For me, I have not been consistent with keeping up with the first and last names. So that's why it's safer for me to just bring in the email addresses. So I'm just going to highlight the email addresses here, copy, right click and copy. I'm going to go back over to Constant Contact, click on Add Contacts. I'm going to click Add Multiple Contacts. And I'm going to click Place Names and Emails. Now, if you wanted to, you could do names and emails or just emails. If you're going to do names and emails, you could do their first name, last name, and email address. And you could press Enter after each one. So I'm just going to click in this space. I'm going to right click and paste. And when I do, you see it gives me that yes, these are all acceptable email addresses. If there's a typo, then it will show up as red. I'm going to click Continue. And then Add Contacts to List. I've got to pick the list I want to add them to. So I'm going to click the list, do Test List for Web Tutorial, and click Apply. And then Import. And it's going to import. And if you had thousands of names, it'll be imported. Those names would, or email addresses would be imported within minutes. It's a beautiful, beautiful system. All right, so now I have all these people added All of them will get the welcome email that I told you about at the very beginning of the tutorial. They will get the welcome email welcoming them to my list, but they will also, now we're ready to send our newsletter to this list. Great. So that's how you can add contacts simply into Constant Contact. Great. Now, the next thing we want to do is schedule the newsletter and send. So let's go back to campaigns and find the newsletter that we created a few minutes ago. And there we go. We've got June newsletter there. Created today. Click Actions and Schedule. It's going to bring us up to our scheduler. Now, the nice thing about the scheduler in Constant Contact is I know as a busy business owner, you may not feel like you have time to do these newsletters. And so what you could do is set aside a set amount of time, do 2 or 3 newsletters at a time, and schedule them out into the future. So the nice thing is you can schedule them up to a year in advance. All right, remember I'm in a trial account, so I can only send to 10 contacts at one time, but once you have a paid account, you can send to as many people as you want, and you can send to as many lists as you want. So the nice thing about Constant Contact is you can have multiple lists, and you can send to as many lists, all the lists, or just one list at a time. Okay? Very good. And so I picked test list for web tutorial. Here's the other nice feature about Constant Contact. You can do what's called Simple Share. Simple Share will allow you to automatically share your newsletter on social media, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. The second it blasts out to your audience, it also is going to put a link to your web page newsletter on your social media. That way, the people who are following you in social media but are not on your newsletter list get exposure to your newsletter as well, and ideally, they will join your list. Love, love, love Simple Share. And so I can click to add an image that matches the web page. So I'm going to pick the little girl. See there. And I can pick whatever images I want. If I want a different image on Facebook than I have on Twitter, I can do that as well. But I'm going to consistently pick the same image and insert. There you go. So when it shows up on it's going to show up on my page. And it's going to have a little girl, which will, of course, pique people's interest as to what's this link all about. And then save and close. Okay. Great. That's social sharing. All right. Now I'm ready to schedule. So I click on schedule. I'm going to click send later. And where it has date, I am going to pick the date. So I'm going to send it out tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Now, when to send is also very important. You got to know your audience. If you're in a weekend business, perhaps you're a restaurant or a lounge or something, and you want to drive weekend business, then Friday is the day to send out. For most small businesses, if you're communicating with other business owners or consumers, you want to send your newsletter on Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. Monday is a tough day because email boxes are littered with emails from the weekend. So my advice is to choose Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Then the time of day. Do you want it early morning? Do you want it afternoon? It all depends on your audience. If you're unsure, test it. Split your list up and send one in the morning on a Tuesday and one in the afternoon on a Thursday and see what kind of open rates you get. That is one of the other advantages we don't have time to get into today, but that the reporting tools that are built into Constant Contact are phenomenal. Those reporting tools will allow you to see exactly who opened your email, the time and date they opened it, did they click social media, Did they forward it to a friend? Oh my gosh, the stats are amazing for a business owner. So I'm going to do a separate tutorial on how to use reporting tools to be able to track your data. It is so key to the success of your campaigns to look at your data. All right, but right now we're going to schedule this to go out tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. and tomorrow's a Monday, so let's do Tuesday to be consistent with the advice I just gave. And I'm going to choose OK. And it's going to come back and say it is scheduled. We will be sending on Tuesday at 7 a.m. and it's within a 15-minute window of your scheduled time. And I'm done. Woohoo! We have completed a newsletter. All right, so let's recap what we did. We started a newsletter. We clicked on create. We picked a template. And I'm not going to go through everything, but we did newsletters. We picked a template. We modified the template. We modified text. We modified graphics. We added a video link. We uploaded a list. We set up a new list. We scheduled the email to go out. We talked about customer service, and we edited our settings to make sure that we were compliant with the CAN-SPAM Act. So this tutorial has taken you from beginning to send of a newsletter. I want to go back to wrap up our PowerPoint to make sure that you grasp the concept. So in conclusion, newsletters are a great marketing tool. You want to use them to reach your audience where they are, in their inbox, dozens of times a day. Use graphics and videos to emphasize points. Make sure you keep your newsletters short and sweet, and consistency. I send my newsletter every 2 weeks on a Wednesday, and I'm very consistent with that. And when I am, people have come to expect to see that from me every other Wednesday. So whatever you choose, make sure it's something you can keep up. If it's monthly, choose first Tuesday of every month and be consistent with that. Just make sure that you don't give up, because with any marketing, it takes time to get traction. But once you get to that traction, it keeps going. So on a final note, as an assessment for this tutorial to make sure you grasp the concepts, please create a newsletter, add a video, add at least one graphic, add a little bit of text just so I can see you know how to do text, and then email me a preview. Also add a link, maybe a link to your website or your Facebook page, and then preview. Send me a preview. You can send it to either Toni@drasticonlineresults.com or ToniHarris1@yahoo.com, just so I can see that you have completed the tutorial and that you know how to create a basic newsletter. Choose whatever template you want, modify the colors, modify the fonts, just so I can see that you have grasped the concepts. I want to thank you so much for your time and learning how to use Constant Contact, the #1 email providing system, to market your business. It is a drastic step to do that. As you can see, I talk about taking drastic steps. It's a drastic step to implement any type of marketing in your business, but I promise you, this is one that will pay off handsomely. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me via email. I'm here to help. Thank you.